Hello, everyone. This is Loren Israelsen, President of the United Natural Products Alliance. Welcome to our YouTube channel. And today I have the great pleasure to introduce you to Nosco and Colin Tague, who is a packaging advisor with Nosco. We are here to discuss mission packaging, MSHN. This is a new generation packaging technology that I believe all of us who are finding things on our porches will be delighted to hear about. The world has evolved in the last 5 years, and we're now consuming far more packaging than we ever have, and much of it we would like to find a way to reduce it or get rid of it altogether. But today, I'm delighted to share with you some great news. Colin, could you just give us an overview just for a second on who Nosco is? This is an amazing company. And then let's just dive straight into the mission. That's what I'm going to call it because I see it as a mission. The mission shipper and packaging technology.
Yeah, so my name is Colin Tague. I'm joined here by Kyle Vlasak. He's our General Manager of Strategic Initiatives. We're live at the PIC is what we call it. That's the Packaging Innovation Center in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin. We're in our beautiful Customer Innovation Hub. This is in our Solutions Engineering Department where we can research and develop packages from the ground up with co-packers, brands, and anyone else who wants to get hands-on involved in the package development process. And Kyle, I'll give you a second to introduce yourself here.
Kyle Vlasak, thanks, Colin. Strategic initiatives here. So anything with revolving around new product innovations that help customers attain those goals with their customers.
Yes. And a little bit about Nosco. We're a printed packaging company. We have 5 sites now across the United States. We produce cartons, labels, inserts, and flexible packaging. Our latest product line are these mission shippers, which we'll discuss in further detail today. We mostly service the pharmaceutical market, but we also serve natural health, and we're expanding into CPG. So this is a great fit for those types of companies who are looking to offer a great direct-to-consumer product.
Terrific. Well, let's just jump right in because we have a lot to talk about, and this is a very interesting subject. So first of all, what distinguishes the mission shipper from other packaging options that we're also familiar with today? Could you give us a sense of what are the key features of this packaging, especially as they deal with sustainability and environmental responsibility, which is a very important aspect for the natural product industry?
So let me start by saying what it's not. So you actually set this up nicely around what's happening on our front doorsteps. A lot of corrugate, a lot of poly bags, a lot of void fill. There's paper, plastic, and what you're probably not catching often is the fact that these have someone else's brands on them. So you're looking at packaging that doesn't even have my own brand speed up to date on it. So it's not at all immersive for that customer to unbox this. By the way, these are large, typically heavy, and that shipper is paying for dimensional weight. So bottom line, there's got to be a better way, right?
Well, I sure think so.
What we've developed is a line of custom mission style shippers, and mission stands for mailer and shipper from Nosco. So these are actually right-sized. They're in SBS, but it first off just eliminates the idea that I need a secondary box. So right there, that means you're not sourcing the carton, you're not sourcing the void fill, you're not assembling it. You're actually putting something directly into something that's shippable and brandable. So we'll start with a few of these. The fact that we've got about 4 here that are completely customizable. I'll start with what we call an envelope style, which is really perfect for supplements. It's perfect for sampling. It's perfect for flex fill. It's perfect for literature. But this is your standard envelope disguised. So this would arrive much like an envelope would arrive when you pull off the top. But in this case, with full branding in SBS, so it eliminates a lot of the extra packaging and even has an embossing on it to protect what's inside. So right size, on brand, makes it immersive for the customer to open up and say, gee, I'm immersed right off the bat.
Yes. Want to go into the multi-pack? As you can see here, you have that same amount of branding space. You can also get branding space on the outside, or you can print a distraction pattern if you want to hide some of the branding or what's inside. I know some companies like to ship discreetly if that's interesting to them. But we have custom built partitions, so you can place a jar in there, a tincture, you can place stand-up pouches, and we can help you with our CAD team to provide that partition that fits your products exactly the way you want them to ship.
And safely without the outer box. So again, you're not taking this and then repackaging it into another box and paying for that assembly, that inventory, that sourcing headache. It goes out the way you want it to go out, the way you want your customer to see it. And neat, interesting piece about this, what you probably noticed on the outside is a little bit of what we call a distraction pattern. So this could be done as something that arrives on your doorstep that masks what's inside, or it could be done with a one color branding. But all of the high color, high gloss branding is inside, typically the exact opposite of what you would see on packaging.
When I first learned about this, it took me a minute to grasp the idea that that is what's on your porch, what you're just showing us. And
Exactly.
so that raises a really critical question for our viewers: is how durable, how solid, and are there any regulatory requirements? How does that make sure that now glass bottles in particular, that's a big part of our industry. It's considered to be a high standard of quality, but it's heavy and it does break. We also have a lot of plastic, as you know. Walk us through. You've obviously tested this, and what do the folks at FedEx and Amazon, UPS, what do they think about this?
Interestingly, go back to the idea of breakage. What we're still hearing from a lot of our customers, that even though they are packaging it, wrapping it in a hex wrap or a bubble wrap, or actually providing extra air cells inside, they're still experiencing breakage with current packaging. So what we've done here, as mentioned earlier, this nest is designed to hold that tray and keep it supported and not be damaged from the outside. And we'll show you a couple other packages that do that too. But through FedEx, through UPS, through USPS, to get on Amazon, through SIOC, typically they all would need to be tested. So in every case, it can't be certified for across the board glass. It's certified for that SKU. That's highly recommended by all of those partners to be able to say, great, it works, but you got to test it with that product. There's typically a 25% tolerance on size and weight when you test them.
Okay. Now, I was able to see some of the actual packaging, and when I opened it up and look inside, it's a pretty sophisticated technology, and it reminded me of what you would understand as a double hold oil tanker to operate. Same concept, it seemed to me, is you have an outer hole, and then you have a void, and then you have the inner hole, so that if it gets punctured on the outside, the inside is still protected.
Yes.
And so,
that's what we call our air cell shipper.
mhm.
So that provides that integrated partition there to make sure the contents are securely placed into the package and it won't bounce around during shipment, and it's also protected from any drops or standard happenings in shipping.
Air all the way around, and again, customized. So it's not something off the shelf that we're going to say, take this size and make it fit. It's what's the product, and we'll size this to make that fit for you, and giving it the testability, the right amount of air, and then let's go out and get this ship tested.
Do you have any data so far on improvements in glass breakage in particular, as compared to what you know from, I would say, long time experience? It's going to be some percent. I'm just going to take a shot at it and say 3 or 4% breakage, maybe 5. I'm sure you've seen improvements. Would that be correct?
Well, we're trying to get that. So we're building up that data right now with the tests, and I'm trying to get more of those customers who have glass to try this out to get those tested. But I don't have that data. But even that 3% or higher we're hearing from our customers is a fortune. So it's something that they're trying to reduce. So not only can I get my brand back, not only can I eliminate a lot of that inventory and get more of customer engagement, but gee, if I can drop that breakage cost, to your point, this actually is lowering the cost of my packaging potentially.
And saving a lot of unhappy customers. Boy, you really get there's a certain place of your brain that where you get a broken package of some kind, and that's not a happy day. So this is very important. Tell us about the brand recognition capabilities here. As you told us, is that you can customize the packaging to meet the needs of the brand holder. And that strikes me as like, this is your private billboard. You get to use it any way you want.
It is. So I'll jump over to what we're calling the fold-over design to talk about that brandability. So we mentioned earlier that distraction pattern that we can put on the outside, and we can make that look like concrete or anything you want it to look like, so it disappears on the doorstep, or just the opposite. If you want to have that branding, you can put logos on the outside. But all the nice shiny inside clay material is facing for the 4-color process artwork, where you can put all the messaging you want on here and engage the customer in that experience. So that actually arrives in the flat and quickly folds with 2 seals on the ends into a package. And we try to be as creative as possible as we do this. So even though I've got a package like this envelope where we had multiple branding on the outside, we use the label to adhere this together. So you're not adding additional adhesive on the inside to keep that branding to pop.
Perfect. Let's talk about your sourcing of materials. Clearly, there's a big reduction in the overall mass and amount of shipping material. But what are these materials made of? How are they sourced? And what improvements could we see in sustainability?
Right off the bat, you're jumping from a fluted corrugate material to an SBS. And this SBS can be up to 30% post-consumer regrinding. So you're eliminating a lot of that right off the bat, as well as using the recyclability directly into this.
Terrific. So you can recycle this material.
All curbside recyclable, yes.
Terrific. That's great. Yeah, over time, that's a lot of material not going into landfill or into what we hope is recycling. But increasingly, I wonder how much of what we put into our recycle bins is getting to the place where it's supposed to be recycled.
We've had a lot of customers approach us with the idea that they're adding plastic, those bubble wrapped, or they're sending it out in a poly bag, or they're sending it out with bubble air cells in it. So it eliminates the plastic right off the bat. Totally recyclable.
Tell us how a company would come to you and develop something jointly. What is the collaboration process here?
Great question. First, we start out with what we're doing right here. So understanding what their goals are, if that may be, hey, I want to engage with more branding, or I need to have more product protection, or I need to drive more less inventory or sourcing and eliminate all that. Let's put those goals out there first and foremost. But let's get that package that you have in mind, starting with possibly your top sellers, and let's do some design work. So it really starts with the prototyping of taking one of these concepts and customizing it, even skinning it with their logo artwork to say, let's what this looks like. Let's test it. It's an easy entry to try it. Yes.
So Nosco is known for its world-class customer service. So tell us, if a customer comes and you're beginning to work with them closely, what can they expect in terms of that ongoing service from Nosco?
So a lot of customers do come to us with a specific idea in mind. They have an issue and they want us to come up with the solution, and that's what we are great at. So they contact their packaging advisor, which is me in some cases, and I am their main point of contact. I'm supported by our account management team, our graphic services team, our solutions engineering teams, and we all work together to come up with a solution that fits the customer's need based on their input. And a great way to do that in real time is to join us at the PIC like we are now.
It's terrific. Makes that innovation time fun. Bringing the engineers to engineers, whether that be packaging on their end, the branding on their end, the sourcing on their end, together, boy, ideas pop.
Yes, we get great feedback on the PIC.
Well, hopefully I'll be able to get there one day myself and see it firsthand and how the process goes. So we'll update on that. Now tell us, since you've introduced the product, I'm sure there are some early success stories, and you probably have some customers who have good things to say about this.
This is actually super early, and so we're working with several dozen customers right now in developing, and all under NDA, so we can't share the success on those yet. But frankly, one of the things that we've done ourselves is kind of put our money where our mouth is. And we've developed our own mailer and realized that we were using the FedEx shippers, or we were using air cells to send out even customer samples or our own packaging.
Yes.
So we developed our own envelope to be able to send out regularly back and forth to customers, and said, let's put our money where our mouth is and we'll use our own material with no damages on this, and makes an impact with our customers.
Terrific. As we wrap up, tell us about future developments. What's in the pipeline that you could share with us, if anything?
One of the things is going to be a next step beyond mission, which is actually home healthcare test kits or home healthcare. So a lot of supplement companies or a lot of medical device companies and healthcare companies are realizing that patients, consumers, now had just gone through a pandemic and are more comfortable with saying, I could be tested at home and it's reliable. So there are a lot more things happening with test kits or self-diagnosis, either one way, two-way back to lab, or directly from retail, where a lot of this packaging can be used, and it doesn't need to be repackaged to ship it direct to your patient or practitioner, or through the practitioner to their customer.
Great. Finally, if a company's interested to get hold of you to explore this further, what's the easiest way? And we can certainly put a tag on the back of this interview so there's contact information. Just want to make sure it's easy for people to know how to reach you.
Yeah, I'd say the best way is to reach out directly to a packaging advisor. You can do that by visiting nosco.com/mission. That's MSHN. So nosco.com/mission, and you can request a meeting to join us in our innovation hub. You can have a one-to-one free consultation with the packaging advisor, and that's the best way to get a hold of us.
You can also request samples, but I highly recommend you jump to the prototyping. So might as well send us one of your products to get that going while you're also getting samples from us.
Yes, good point.
Good advice. Good advice. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for your time. This really important information you've shared with us, as we all, especially in the natural product industry, are very sensitive to the overburden of packaging, how we can reduce that. And it appears to me that this could be a very meaningful step to see significant reductions, improvement in product security, less breakage potentially, as well as your own branding opportunities. This is pretty revolutionary. Congratulations on such an innovation. And we're delighted to have Nosco as one of our leading UNPA members. And we will certainly be talking more as you gain more experience. And I'm hopeful that we'll have a chance to see you at some of the future trade shows where you could be demonstrating these terrific shipping systems to a much broader audience of people within the natural product industry. So with that, thank you both. We'll be in touch and follow your progress.
Thanks for the spotlight, Loren.
Thank you, Loren.
Our pleasure.